If you experienced your wife or partner gaining weight, approximately how significant was the weight difference, and how did that affect your feelings towards her? Story 1. While in college, she gained 50 pounds during our first year together. She was addicted to soft drinks and spent her free time being inactive. Meanwhile, I worked out regularly and engaged in active hobbies. The more weight she gained, the more insecure she became, despite me never commenting on it. Any girl who was skinnier than her was perceived as a threat. At a concert, she even physically assaulted a girl in front of us for no reason other than being skinny, which upset her. 15 years after we split, I saw a photo of her. She is now morbidly obese, easily exceeding 300 pounds. This unhealthy weight is likely entirely due to her lifestyle. Story 2, we're talking about a possible 20-pound gain. She looks attractive in my eyes, and I constantly compliment her as I always have. Unfortunately, it is met with dismissive comments, which has affected her self-esteem and her desire to let me see her naked. We've gone from being intimate at least twice a week 5 years ago to just 2 times last year. You can only be supportive for so long when you're feeling shut out. I'm not sure this is going to last. I'm 52, in great shape, and I don't plan on spending the rest of my life in a relationship without intimacy. Story 3. I started dating a girl who was cute but already plump, and she continued to gain weight while we dated. I couldn't tell you how much she weighed at the start or by the end, but it seemed like she would only continue to gain as time went on. In almost every other regard, she was an amazing girlfriend, so I stayed with her for several years. However, at no point did I look at her and think she was attractive, but I did my duty as her boyfriend to make her feel desirable. At some point, I started going to the gym again and invited her to join me. She adamantly refused. I tried to gently motivate her, framing it as more time to spend together and pointing out that she would feel better and more energetic. However, she was smart and knew exactly how I felt about her weight gain. Despite my efforts not to imply anything, she told me she had no interest in losing weight and that if I continued to coax her into the gym, she would resent me for it. We broke up shortly after. So, it had a lot less to do with her being overweight than it did with her steadfast refusal to do anything about it. Story 4. First 10 to 20 pounds bothered her much more than me. She was slim and fit when we got married, so it's not like she was obese. With the next 20 to 30 pounds, she became more distressed. I went on diets with her, but she inevitably cheated when I was at work or not home. After gaining another 20 pounds, she started watching content related to fat activism. She criticized her mother for encouraging a healthier diet. She became more sensitive to heat and stopped going on walks with me if it was warmer than 70 degrees Fahrenheit outside. The more weight she gained, the lower the acceptable outside temperature became. She also needed it cooler indoors, so I was wearing sweaters inside year-round. To be fair, she also has a condition called dysautonomia, which causes temperature regulation issues. Now she's probably at least 100 pounds heavier. She gets winded easily, so we don't hike together anymore. Our bedroom life is more stagnant than ever. She looks radically different. We no longer work out together, and she no longer encourages us to eat healthy food with plenty of vegetables. I try to cook healthy meals, but I can't stop her from buying snacks. I feel like I have essentially lost my 30s in terms of our sex life. I still try to be sexually active with her, but she hates being reminded of her body, so everything else has to be perfect. I miss feeling physically attracted to her. I have some resentment that it feels like she's doing this to herself, but because of the things she reads online, even discussing it is seen as fat shaming. It's not shallow to be affected by your spouse's body changing drastically, and everyone who says it is should focus that energy on their own marriage. Story 5. It doesn't bother me. She is gorgeous. The issue is that it bothers her and affects her confidence. There is nothing more attractive than when she feels confident and acts accordingly. She shows off, uninhibited, allowing me to appreciate her whole body and getting into it. When she doesn't feel sexy, she is less enthusiastic about sharing herself with me. However, I have never stopped being crazy about her body. Story 6. It was 25 kilograms, which affected my physical attraction to her. We discussed it, And she is currently on a weight loss journey since she is also unhappy with her size. Story 7. She was very plump when we met. She gained a lot of weight and was probably over 140 kilograms. Now, she has lost weight after many attempts. I am not against being overweight. In fact, I appreciate it. However, it can negatively impact health and cause discomfort and problems. When she expressed a desire to lose weight, I supported her. Story 8. I have been on the other side of this issue, where I gained weight during a long-term relationship. Let me tell you, your partner can be just as shallow about it. I'm back in shape now, but it's a lesson I won't forget. Losing that person made it much easier for me to get fit again. To be honest, moving forward, I don't think I would tolerate significant unhealthy weight gain in a relationship. Experience has taught me that others may not tolerate it, so why should I? The moral of the story is that nothing is guaranteed in life, so keep taking care of yourself. At the end of the day, you are your own best investment, so prioritize your health and wellness. Story 9. The weight gain came alongside jealousy, anger, bouts of rage, depression, and isolation. She gained about 50 pounds when she was already a larger girl, which I loved when we got together. She refused to change, so I left. It broke my heart because I truly loved her, but that love is just a memory now. Story 10. She gained some weight after our child, but it honestly wasn't the weight that bothered me. It was the extreme lack of confidence that accompanied it. Story 11. My wife was extremely petite and thin when we started dating. She was naturally tiny, not due to an eating disorder. At 5 feet 6 inches and 100 pounds, calling her skinny would be an understatement. 2 children and my questionable influence have resulted in her weighing around 170 pounds at the moment. While she wants to lose weight, and I support her decision completely, I'm still very much attracted to her. I have seen her grow as a person, witnessed her bringing 2 children into the world, and observed the changes her body has gone through. I only love her more. Story 12. This was a point of contention between my wife and me, but there was a caveat to it all. My wife and I connected deeply with fitness long before we had children. Before her pregnancies, we kept each other accountable and valued the physical benefits of working out. It was never about reaching a certain aesthetic or trying to look good for each other. Rather, it was about keeping ourselves healthy and having something to bond over. I never really thought about the benefits that exercising brought to her body or mine because it was simply something we did together. After her pregnancies, there was bound to be a period of adjustment, and I honestly never expected her to jump right back into the gym as hard as she used to. That would have been unreasonable and unrealistic, in my opinion. But once a few years passed, I realized it was never about how she looked. I missed the connection and the bond it provided us. When we discussed it, I was honest in saying that I missed seeing her active and taking care of herself. If her body had stayed exactly the same as it was post-pregnancy, that would have been perfectly fine with me because it was never about appearances. I valued seeing her take care of herself. She agreed and missed that part as well. It just took time for her to get back into that groove and refamiliarize herself with, or as she put it, reclaim her body after 2 pregnancies. I value that we were able to reconnect in this way. I love her stretch marks. I love her body the way it is, including all the changes that will come with it. I love knowing that she carried both of our children and brought them into the world. I wouldn't change a thing about how she looks. It's not up to me anyway. Story 13. I still find her beautiful and love her, but she was definitely more attractive to me when she was fit. That is the body type I prefer. Story 14. My wife has always had a thicker build. Coupled with medical issues and having 3 kids, her weight has fluctuated. You know what? I don't care. She's my wife and my best friend. I love her, and part of that is accepting someone as they are. She is also 15 years older than when we first started hanging out. It's a bit unreasonable to expect her body not to change, right? Story 15. I loved it. She got thicker in all the right places, and it was a joy. We usually fluctuate in a 10 to 15 pound range. We love cooking but try to eat pretty healthy. We don't shy away from sweets, we just moderate them. We both stay active and have a lot of muscle mass. We don't drink or smoke, we just like to indulge. A couple of times a year, we usually eat really clean for a few weeks and get back to our ideal weights, but it's purely for confidence and aesthetics. It's definitely a team sport. I have a public-facing career, so if I have a photo shoot or something coming up, I can lose weight quickly and look really fit. But I'll enjoy a bag of Cheetos and some ice cream after it's done. Values-wise, neither of us really cares about looking ripped as long as we both stay height and weight proportional. If we get out of our usual range, we check in with each other to see what's going on. Sometimes it's stress, family issues, anxiety, etc., and we make a plan for the next steps. We both have regular therapists, so whatever the issue is usually gets resolved quickly before either of us lets ourselves go. It's more of a warning sign than a "they just don't care about or respect me" situation. Story 16. The weight never bothered me. In fact, I think she looks more attractive with it. Her dropping confidence is the big problem, though. She has been small her whole life. When we met, she weighed 90 pounds at 5 feet 3 inches, and now she's up to about 125 to 130 pounds. I believe she looks healthy. Story 17. If you experienced your wife or partner gaining weight, approximately how much was the weight difference? 20 to 25 kilograms. How did that affect your feelings towards her? Didn't. There were other reasons that did. Story 18. I don't want to give this answer, but it hurts our relationship from my perspective. Sexually, there are some issues. She is a beautiful person, but the weight gain is less attractive. It mostly has to do with her motivation to improve. I don't hold her accountable because I feel we both enabled each other and gained weight during the pandemic. However, I am trying to do what I can to lose weight and have made significant progress. She doesn't show interest in working out. Seeing others who work hard at the gym and maintain fitness is very attractive to me. She is self-conscious and upset whenever she looks in the mirror, but it never turns into motivation. I am also concerned about her overall health. I would love for us to live a long time together and be functional, but I am definitely worried that won't happen. I have tried many different ways to support her goals, but nothing has really worked. Story 19. My wife gained 10 pounds and I gained 20 pounds. In our mid-40s, we both have ambitions to get fit again, and we go on walks and to the gym together. However, it feels shameful to admit that we haven't been able to return to our pre-COVID selves. Many bad habits developed during the pandemic, and I became a stress eater. We will get there. The past few years have been challenging, and life has its ups and downs. I have become self-conscious during intimacy, especially when I am seated and her belly touches mine, making sounds, or when we are in a spooning position and my belly presses against her lower back. We genuinely want to be fitter now, primarily for health, activity, and energy reasons, with vanity taking a backseat. Story 20. I noticed but never said anything. She was still attractive. Just keep trying to uplift them with compliments and encourage walks together. Story 21. My wife has gained about 40 pounds since I met her. She is 170 pounds, and to me, she is honestly more attractive now than when I met her 5 years ago. She dislikes her body and wants to lose weight. I support whatever decision she makes, but I still compliment her constantly on how she looks. Story 22. It didn't matter in terms of being attracted to my ex. She ended up being a difficult person. Now she's struggling with mobility, and I'm relieved that I don't have to manage that. However, I put on weight as well. When I got remarried, my wife is fit, and I lost 30 pounds simply by adopting a healthier lifestyle. Story 23. She has gained weight, but it is most likely due to our eating habits. I am probably the main contributor as I am the primary cook. She also loves to bake. Additionally, she works out more now than she did when she was smaller, so she has developed more muscle than before. I still tell her she is beautiful and my favorite multiple times a day, and that is truly how I feel. Story 24. I gained 20 kilograms, and he ended the relationship because he didn't want to be seen with someone he described as a pig. He cheated on me with a beautiful, slender girl who made his life difficult, and he would call me crying to talk about the situation. After he ended the relationship, I gained a little more weight, but then lost it all and even more. I am feeling better and better. And guess who is trying to reach out to me again after 10 years? Story 25. I am working hard to stay in shape. I would not be attracted to my wife anymore if she became overweight. She knows this and it works both ways. Therefore, she works hard as well to stay in shape. It is healthy and attractive. Story 26. We both gained weight at about the same rate, and because it was so gradual, we never really noticed. If change is slow enough and you are with each other every day, you don't see it. We were both a couple of pounds heavier, but we still saw each other as the same people. Story 27. I have been with my wife for almost 13 years. She was around 150 pounds and 5 feet 7 inches tall when we first met. She gained weight to about 200 pounds, and then an additional 25 pounds after having kids. I never saw her any differently, but after having our children, she started a weight management program. 2 years later, she has lost 75 pounds and looks and feels great. She is much more active now with the family, making it easy to reach 10,000 to 15,000 steps a day. Story 28. Her confidence didn't change as she gained weight. It honestly didn't affect much. The difference was 40 to 50 pounds. Story 29. As others have mentioned, the weight gain did not concern me, but the fact that it was primarily due to developing depression did. It also impacted our physical relationship, particularly in terms of stamina, adding another layer of stress. I focused on preparing healthy meals and reducing the number of snacks in the house. We have been going to the gym together, and we are both healthier now. Story 30. It probably bothers her more than it bothers me, but the way it affects her really concerns me. To be less cryptic, confidence is attractive, and gaining weight seems to affect people's self-esteem. Story 31. It happens. She was never unhealthy during any weight gain and always was attractive to me. I just don't care about this as much as some people do, I guess. People gain weight. They lose it. As long as it isn't unhealthy weight gain, I am not worried about 10 or 15 pounds unless it's on my body and I don't like it. Story 32. Her weight is not what concerns me. I love my wife regardless of any outward issues. My concern is her health. Her knees are troubling her, and her sleep is affected. Sometimes her mood is unusual. It is difficult to watch because she dislikes the way she looks. She is unhappy with the weight she has gained and how it makes her feel, as well as its impact on her mental health. It is a challenging situation for her to overcome. I have tried to help her, but she can become withdrawn and remain in those moods. Story 33. Worrying at our age, under 30, I find her attractive at her current weight. However, if she gains an additional 20 pounds, it may start to affect my attraction towards her. She has recently surpassed my weight and often discusses genetics and metabolism whenever we have difficult conversations about it. This makes me think the situation is unlikely to improve. Story 34. I thanked her for bringing our children into the world and enduring the challenging experience. I am getting older as well, but I am grateful that she is right there with me, working out every day to remain attractive for each other. Story 35. It's honestly tough. My wife has gained over 100 pounds in the 5 years I have known her. When I met her, she was an athletic track runner. Since then, our lives have taken us on different paths. I have maintained an active lifestyle and I am in amazing shape. My wife tries to make changes but often falls back into unhealthy routines. I prepare healthy meals for her and invite her to the gym, but she tends to choose fast food the next day or declines my invitations. My main concern is not my attraction to her, although it has suffered due to the weight gain. However, I love her deeply. She is more than just a partner to me. She is the love of my life. My most pressing concern is her health. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in my teenage years and am now seeing the consequences it has on a person. I do not want my wife to experience the same issues I face. I want her to live a long and healthy life, much like the one I am trying to build with whatever remaining health I may have. She is more critical of herself than anyone else, which weighs on me. Her mental health is at an all-time low, and she often appears unhappy in photos. It takes her 30 minutes to find one photo of herself that she doesn't consider completely unflattering. The impact of her weight gain on her mental health is significant, and it has begun to affect me as well. She experiences strong emotions and mood swings, and I often feel the blunt end of those changes. Story 36. My most recent ex gained some weight during the relationship, but I never stopped finding her just as attractive as when we first met. Story 37. I like it. She has gained some weight over the years and has softened a bit. Her breasts are larger and her tummy is softer. She takes care of herself, but the most noticeable changes occurred after her pregnancy. Overall, she appears softer with more curves. Story 38. This has happened with both my ex and my current partner, whom I plan to propose to soon. Something I've noticed is that it depends on the person. With my ex, I was quite dissatisfied with the weight she gained. She went from around 180 to 220 pounds and had a complete lack of desire to get healthy or be active. As someone who exercises almost every day, this really bothered me. I was not attracted to her whatsoever. There were also many other issues in the relationship that were my responsibility and caused a downward spiral. My current partner has also gained weight, about the same amount but starting from a different point. She has gone from around 140 to 180 pounds, and I am not upset about it at all. I love the weight she has gained. Her belly is very attractive to me. Gaining weight helped her fill out her womanly frame more, and I am obsessed. She literally looks like a Greek goddess statue to me. It is perfect. On top of that, she enjoys being active and participating in outdoor activities. As other comments have mentioned, it is more about the person than the weight, and I am only bothered by it when she is. I want to marry my girlfriend, and I think all of her imperfections are wonderful. The stretch marks from gaining weight really turn me on. Story 39. All my partners have gained weight during our relationships, and so have I. It's just normal and didn't change my feelings toward them at all. Story 40. The weight gain really bothers me. I want to share this thread with her, but I'm sure I'd be posting about it tomorrow. Story 41. My wife has transformed from a curvy 135 pounds to over 200, and then back down to 125. We have 4 children, and she is now competing in a bikini competition. It is important to love your partner for who they are and where they are in their journey. If she stops caring about her health and fitness, that would be a concern. However, if you are not taking care of yourself, it's best to remain quiet. If you are taking care of yourself, then you have a valid point. Story 42. My wife could gain 100 pounds and I would still love her deeply. While physical attraction is important, being with someone who has a great personality and sense of humor will endure beyond any physical changes. Story 43. It was one of the main problems when we ended the relationship. However, it wasn't the only issue. While I wasn't as attracted to her as before, the primary concerns were her health problems and the laziness that accompanied her significant weight gain. I am talking about going from 50 kilograms to 75 to 80 kilograms at a height of 162 centimeters. Story 44. She tells me that she has gained a lot of weight since we started dating, but frankly, I haven't noticed. She is as energetic, attractive, and wonderful as she has ever been. She is working hard to lose it for athletic-related reasons, but she will always be appealing to me. Story 45. When she embraced herself and spoke of her body with confidence, I thought she couldn't be sexier. Her acceptance of herself was incredibly attractive. Of course, she had moments of insecurity, and I always did my best to make her feel beautiful and desirable. We are no longer together, but that's for completely different reasons. I was so madly in love that I didn't care about weight gain. If she was happy and felt confident, it showed. She didn't scrutinize my body, so why would I do the same to her? Story 46. It's not the weight gain I care about, but I can't stand the constant complaints about her gaining weight while doing nothing to address it. Story 47. My wife was small and slim when I married her. She moved to my country and developed a preference for unhealthy food. Now she weighs more and feels a bit self-conscious about it. I tell her that there is more of her to love, and I particularly like her soft belly. Story 48. I cook very well. There is a good chance a girl may gain some weight. I cannot get upset over things that are my fault. Story 49. My wife gained weight after our 3rd child and she hasn't lost it, but I don't mind. It's all gone to her legs and butt, which drives me wild, so I'm good with it. She's eager to lose the weight, but finding time to exercise is tough. Story 50. She gained 100 pounds in the first year alone. I felt insulted and cheated. It seemed like I was not making her happy and she didn't care about my happiness. It was a huge turn off. A few pounds, around 20, wouldn't be a big deal. 100 pounds. Story 51. About 10 kilograms. It's not a lot, but it shows on such a small person. I don't mind, but it became a bit tiring listening to her complain about feeling overweight and being unhappy that I had a six-pack while she gained 20% of her body weight. I mean, I'm not the one who ate that food and stopped going to the gym, so I don't understand what my body composition has to do with it. Story 52. I became less attracted sexually. It reached a point where we hardly ever engaged in intimacy. Eventually, she got on track, started walking daily during her lunch break, and improved her diet. As a result, she lost about 60 pounds, and things returned to a more normal state. Story 53. It has been almost 25 years and 2 children later. What kind of person would think she would still have the same dress size at 45 as she did at 20? Of course, she gained weight. So did I. I don't mind. I didn't marry her for superficial reasons. Story 54. I have gained some weight too. It's not like she is significantly overweight, just an extra 15 pounds over ideal. A fair proportion of that went into her breasts. I still find her as irresistible as ever, and as far as I can tell, she feels the same about me. I would like to see her and myself lose the extra weight to feel better, but I wouldn't say it impacts our attraction towards each other. Story 55. We have both experienced fluctuations in our weight, and we are a bit thicker than we would prefer. That being said, our sex life has never been better, and our ability to communicate is also strong. We discussed our mutual lack of fitness on Saturday and agreed to start a program tomorrow. Story 56. She never really gained weight, but I dated a woman who was very concerned that I cared too much about the gym. She knew I would end the relationship if she gained weight, which led to a few arguments. Story 57. My ex-wife gained a significant amount of weight. That did not bother me. What troubled me was her refusal to eat what I prepared, her tendency to spend money on unhealthy food, her increasing laziness, and several other issues. The weight gain was merely a symptom rather than the cause. Honestly, it made me resentful that she stopped trying. Story 58. I started dating my wife 14 years ago. She hasn't changed dramatically, but her body isn't the same as it was when she was 25. We have both aged, gained some weight, lost some, and moved toward a healthier lifestyle. To be completely honest, I would love my wife just as much as I did when we were in our 20s. If she gained a significant amount of weight, I might not be as keen on it, but I would still be there to help her through it. The weight gain wouldn't be the issue for me. It would be more about her response to it and her lifestyle. Story 59. Honestly, my significant other became a bit chubby for a while, and I don't know why, but it seemed very attractive to me. I couldn't keep my hands off them. They look objectively more attractive now, and most importantly, they feel better emotionally. But there's something about my curvy significant other that I really enjoy. Story 60. I feel really upset about it. Much less so about the actual weight gain than what caused it. When I met her, her athleticism was downright inspiring. She inspired me to get back to fitness after years of neglect. She's about 40 pounds heavier now, and it's much less about her appearance. It's because this hasn't happened due to some inevitable progression of aging. This happened because she entirely quit working out and playing sports and took up about 5 to 8 alcoholic beverages a day, plus multiple servings of candy every night. I've been trying to explain to her that aside from the weight gain, which she complains about all the time, these lifestyle choices drastically increase her chances of many kinds of cancer, heart disease, and neurological impairment, while reducing her expected lifespan. It's also, frankly, depressing to witness, which has eroded my respect for her and my ability to imagine a future together. It's really breaking my heart. She has many good qualities, but her commitment to fitness was one of the ones that helped me a lot. It's much harder now for me to maintain a good lifestyle too. I feel like this woman, who I really love deeply and who once truly lifted me up, is just dragging me down. She's breaking my heart. Story 61. She wasn't even a ton of weight, but it was significant to her. She was a rhythmic gymnast for most of her life, so she was always tiny. She went on vacation to be with her family because her grandparents were very old, and she hadn't been to her home country in years. In the month or so she was there, she gained about 10 pounds, and it all went to her hips and thighs. I was very happy when she returned. I couldn't keep my hands off her. However, she felt uncomfortable and unattractive. Even though she only weighed around 135 to 140 pounds at 5 feet 3 inches. It probably didn't help that I kept playfully jiggling her, but whenever she lay down and smacking it for fun. It was like a new toy, but I was drawing attention to it, so it wasn't appropriate. Eventually, she got back down to closer to her regular weight in the 120s, which I didn't mind either way. We stopped dating a few years ago due to my commitment issues. Ever since then, I haven't been with anyone long enough to experience a fluctuation in weight. Story 62. We both gain and lose weight together. She looks good with a little added weight. I need to lose 100 pounds before summer. Story 63. It's not a big problem, but not as much as I thought it would be. The real issue stemmed from insecurities and a lack of confidence caused by weight gain. Being around someone who constantly puts themselves down, accuses you of lying when you compliment them, or uses self-deprecating humor can become very tiring and draining over time. That ultimately ended the relationship. Story 64. My partner was already considered curvy, but she continued to gain weight during our relationship. I became inactive. With work, college, and taking care of my grandmother, I lost time to spend on exercise. I wasn't in great shape to begin with, but I wasn't overweight. When she mentioned that I was getting bigger, I suggested we start working out together. She got upset and said I was essentially calling her overweight. After a few days of hurtful comments from her, we broke up. I reached 275 pounds during the pandemic, but am working on getting back to 180. She is now severely overweight. I believe if you can't overlook weight gain in your partner, then you shouldn't expect them to accept yours. Story 65. I am glad that never happened to me. I know I may seem like a horrible person for saying it, but I would have a real problem with it. Story 66. As long as they are still active and not a burden on society, it is just extra weight. What is the issue? In my opinion, people are too shallow. Story 67. She was already a little bigger than I preferred when we met, but I looked past it. Then she gained 40 to 50 pounds. At 5 feet 5 inches tall, that is noticeable. It was difficult and I completely lost attraction. I disliked the feeling of walking into a room together and being the guy with an overweight spouse, especially because I made an effort to stay in shape and look attractive. I felt disrespected that she wouldn't do the same for me. Since I felt disrespected, I stopped doing things to make her feel special. Fortunately, we divorced, and my current partner is very attractive. Story 68. She enhanced her appearance significantly. Then she decided to go on a diet and lost 10 pounds. Now I find her more appealing than ever. Did I express that correctly? Story 69. Any man worth keeping around is not going to care about his partner gaining weight unless it becomes a health issue. Story 70. A woman gained 100 pounds due to an accident that resulted in reduced mobility. Her boyfriend was a gym enthusiast and powerlifter who loved her size. She lost half that weight and he remained supportive. It varies with different partners. She mentioned not having been under 180 pounds since high school. It's important to stay active and find enjoyable activities to keep moving. Don't worry too much about what others think. Your confidence should come from within, not from seeking validation, which can be a slippery slope. Story 71. My wife started gaining weight around 36 to 37 years old. Before that age, she could eat and drink whatever she wanted without gaining any weight. It does disappoint me a bit because we have been together since we were teenagers, and seeing her maintain an attractive body all these years only to start to lose it is unfortunate. Does it make me lose attraction? Maybe a little, but not enough to change my feelings for her. It's just a disappointment. As for me, no, I haven't gained much weight. I might fluctuate about 10 pounds occasionally, but I am a large individual, so it is not as noticeable. I monitor my weight closely and make adjustments as needed. Story 72. I am frank and honest about not sugarcoating the subject. I take care of myself and I am aware when I gain weight. I tell her she has gained weight in a neutral tone, without telling her what to do, and so she will inform me if I gain weight. Story 73. To be honest, I didn't notice and I do not care, as I find her beautiful regardless. How it makes her feel is something else. She knows I do not look at her differently, but I know it's not a confidence booster for her. I always try to reassure her that if she ever wants to talk about it, I am here. Story 74. My ex-wife and her weight played a role in our relationship. I no longer felt physically attracted to her. She was 135 pounds at our wedding, but gained 30 pounds within 7 months, while I was on deployment. She never lost the weight. After having 3 children and working full-time, she reached about 215 pounds. Story 75. My first wife gained a significant amount of weight during the pregnancy of our first child. I was not a fan, but I made a promise to love, honor, and cherish her, forsaking all others. Being a man of my word, I kept that promise. She did not, and now we have been happily apart for 20 years, divorced for 16. I would have divorced her earlier, but money was tight, and it is hard to file for divorce when you cannot find someone. Story 76. She has gained about 60 pounds, and I get upset every time I look at her. I don't like being seen together in public either. I'm a bodybuilder, and fitness and appearance are important to me. I don't expect her to be perfect, but she needs to at least care. Gaining 10 to 15 pounds after having children is reasonable, but gaining 30, 40, or 50 pounds is a sign of not caring. Gaining weight is a choice, and gaining a significant amount of weight can fundamentally change who you are. I'm not attracted to larger bodies, and that's what she has become, which is off-putting to me. I love her because she is a great mom and an amazing wife. However, I feel resentment toward her for letting herself go. She is 10 years younger than me and should be able to keep up with me. She just started taking prescription weight loss medication, and I hope that works well. I would love to feel physically attracted to her again. Story 77. It didn't bother me, but if she felt tired most days due to her diet, I would suggest changing my diet as well because I was feeling fatigued. I would then focus on preparing dinners that promote healthier eating. It's important to approach the situation delicately, as we all know her feelings could be hurt if we were to address her weight directly. Story 78. Since I have been together with my girlfriend for nearly 2 years, she has gained about 10 kilograms. I would be lying if I said it has not affected my level of physical attraction to her. I still love her, of course, but it is quite different from when we first started dating, and I miss her old body. She is not happy about it either and desperately wants to lose the weight. I have been supportive and encouraging in that regard, but I have not shared my feelings with her. The worst part is that the weight gain has been coupled with a decrease in body confidence, which has definitely impacted our sex life, often leaving me frustrated. Story 79. It's fine. I did too. It looked far worse on me than it did on her. However, we have made some diet and lifestyle changes, and we have each lost about 40 to 50 pounds over the last couple of years. Story 80. I didn't care. She was the one who would always bring it up. I mentioned it once in the context that I didn't care and didn't leave her for it, but just bringing it up that one time made her very angry at me. Story 81. My partner experienced some healthy weight gain. When I say healthy, I mean about 10 to 15 pounds, and she was already quite slender. We are both enthusiastic and very serious about our fitness, so her weight gain was truly healthy. As for how I felt about it, I loved it. She felt cuddly and easy to hold, but I always thought she was beautiful. Story 82. An old girlfriend was around 105 pounds when we got together and gained about 35 pounds. I loved it because she became fuller without being chubby. Story 83. Weight gain itself is not a concern. However, she was probably too thin to begin with. She looks more womanly. I feel fine about the weight she has gained. Story 84. It is unfortunate that she started to think negatively about her appearance while I was admiring her every day. I tried to make her feel special about her body, yet she seemed determined to undermine that. I struggle with my own self-image, but my size has never prevented me from showing love to my wife. I feel bad about myself every day. Sometimes you have to pretend until it becomes a reality. Story 85. It is somewhat different with my partner. I started dating a girl who struggled with her weight, but she was never lazy or indifferent about her body. It was just a case of bad genetics and a lack of understanding about body fat and nutrition. I communicated clearly beforehand that I value self-improvement and that being in a healthy body is very important for me in a relationship. It is also essential that we can engage in physical activities that we both enjoy. She has currently lost 10 kilograms and is looking and feeling great. I found her beautiful then and find her beautiful now. Story 86. I am a female, so I cannot speak for his thoughts, but we have been together since we were 18 and will be 50 this summer. I have gained probably 40 to 45 pounds since we were teenagers, but it hasn't affected our sex life. He still wants me to run around the house naked. I feel insecure about my weight, but he seems to like me anyway. Story 87. I was worried because my wife was going through depression at the time, and I was concerned about her mental health. I did not care about the weight itself, but I could tell something more was happening than just gaining weight. Once we figured out how to help her mentally, she lost the weight quickly. Part of me wishes she had kept some, but I truly do not care about that. Story 88. At first, she didn't like it, but then she started enjoying it. Now she has lost the weight again, and I appreciate that. Story 89. What do you do if your female significant other wants to be skinnier than what you like about her? I'm 5'3" and always a bit curvy. I try to stay relatively active and eat healthier options. When I work out and actively lean up, I lose a lot more of my curves, but I like how my face and stomach look between 130 and 140 pounds. When I gain weight around 160 to 170 pounds, it goes to all the places I've lost it. The biggest noticeable difference is my chest, which he often points out that he loves. But I feel more insecure because clothes don't fit me the way I like, and my puffy face bothers me. Story 90. It hasn't always been easy to accept, but I have always tried to ensure she didn't feel I loved her less because of it. She has been through difficult moments, and it has had repercussions on our life together. However, we have finally gotten through it by communicating a lot. Now that she feels better, I realize it wasn't her weight that I found less appealing, but the fact that she didn't feel good about herself. It's not perfect now, but she accepts her appearance better, and it shows. She tells me that my continued love and respect have helped her. Of course, it's not the only factor. Now that she is feeling better, I find her incredibly attractive. She is no longer trying to hide, and she is not trying to be attractive in the same way she was before. She is her new self, and she is gorgeous. Story 91. My ex gained about 60 pounds in the 2 years we dated. While she became noticeably less attractive, I didn't mind that much despite being an avid gym goer myself. What really frustrated me was her lack of effort to change. She often complained about gaining weight, yet she ate the same portion sizes as I did. And I am 6 feet 4 inches tall and weigh 220 pounds. She also enjoyed dessert every night and put minimal effort into exercising. Weight gain is acceptable, but don't make excuses for it. You have nobody to blame but yourself. Furthermore, it was annoying how much she struggled to keep up with me on hikes, biking, or even just walking. Story 92. I gained weight too, so it is what it is. The best way for me to motivate her is to get into good shape so she feels self-conscious about how I look better next to her. She dislikes that, and if anything motivates my wife, it's feeling upset about her appearance compared to others she is close to. Story 93. One of the main reasons I left my ex was the lack of sexual attraction and the importance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle in my partner. I can forgive many things, but these qualities are essential to me. Story 94. My wife was quite underweight when we got together, and I really liked cooking and making food. Naturally, she gained about 40 pounds, but at the same time, I gained about 30 pounds. I haven't minded at all since all her weight has gone to all the right places. I think she's really attractive, but both of us agree that we want to lose a bit of weight. Story 95. One of my long-term exes, whom I knew from high school, was best described as athletic. She had some curves and a little extra weight, but was very fit, almost like a softball player. I started talking to her online after not seeing her for a few years since graduation. When we met up, she had gained some weight, which could be described as thick, somewhat chubby, but still looking great. About 4 months in, she had gained a solid 40 pounds. By the end, she had gained a total of 80 pounds, and it was almost hard to recognize her. This change definitely made intimacy more challenging, but the bigger issue was that she became abusive like her mother. Story 96. I guess it would depend on how it came to be. Medical reasons? No care. Letting herself go for no reason? Story 97. We gained weight together, so I couldn't complain. Now, we are working together to lose the weight, and it has improved our relationship by going on this journey together. It has encouraged us to create better habits and find healthy ways to hold each other accountable. Story 98. My girlfriend of 6 months weighs 52 kilograms and is 1.75 meters tall, which is too slim for her height. We plan to join a gym together, and I lost 6 kilograms while she gained 6 kilograms over 4 months. We are balancing it out and are both content with our progress. Our intimacy has improved since then, and we meet daily for workouts and post-workout activities. Story 99. I gained weight due to health problems, but I would not have any issues if my wife did. It's not a big deal. Now I am able to work out again and lose weight. Life takes us in various directions. Story 100. My wife gained weight after having children, but she has lost some of it. I really don't care as long as she is healthy, and she is. I cannot imagine caring as much as most people do. It seems like everyone's libido is easily affected. Story 101. I have a wife who is overweight, but I love her more than myself. She gave me a wonderful son, and she loves me a lot. Although she doesn't eat much, she has a hard time losing weight, which frustrates her and sometimes leads her to skip meals. She expresses concerns about me potentially cheating on her, and I do my best to assure her that I won't. I love her. Story 102. You will get different responses based on the man and how health conscious he is overall. I don't think an out-of-shape man should worry about having an out-of-shape partner. I maintain good shape, so when my wife stopped working and gained weight during the pandemic, I got a high-energy dog that needs many walks and motivated her to work out with me. I want someone who is healthy like me. Story 103. As a wife who has gained over 100 pounds since we met as teenagers, it doesn't seem to bother him. He knows I will eventually lose it between each of our 6 children. The last baby came after a major accident during pregnancy that affected my body significantly. I go to the gym a few times a week, and I have been rebuilding the muscle I lost and losing the fat. I believe it would bother him more if the weight gain wasn't mostly related to his actions and if I wasn't actively trying to improve the situation after my recovery. Story 104. I never cared whether she gained weight or not. However, I was really upset about how much she ate, as she pretty much consumed everything she could get her hands on. It wasn't just about eating. I started calling her a walking black hole because she consumed so much and left nothing for me. Even when I prepared lunch for myself to take to work the next day, she would get up in the middle of the night to eat my lunch. Story 105. We both started off skinny and were open to discussing our weight. Nobody shamed anyone, but we could mention weight gain and talk about it. Both of us gained some weight after having kids. However, we have worked hard to lose it all again and are both happy about our progress. We just never made it a sensitive topic. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.